Good afternoon, gentlemen. Welcome to Arepius.
Ain't no good afternoon nothing. Who the heck is y'all, and where in Sam's name is my ship?
Well, if you'll so kindly let me explain. First off, your ship is down the hall.
Let's go get in and get out of here. You should have explained before giving the location of the ship.
I was just giving a courtesy start beforehand.
Just like you did with Absinthe?
Ne puede.
You should have told me about the plans you had for him.
We'll get him back. I promise you.
The same way we lured Chronic here?
It's not like he's going anywhere that easily.
Wait until he finds out how you were able to really cut his ship off. Niente, you should see them. Especially Chronic. He's unlike anything I've ever seen. Any word on Chronic and the others?
None. The whole dang telecoms went dark. There's no gold in this silence.
Guess you can scratch out Altanium on that list too then.
Okay, so Latania has been low for a while. Now it looks sketchy as a wolf. One thing to rule out is talking to any embassy that deals with these kind of scenarios.
What are you, crazy? We really have a red button on our heads now for that Scorched Field incident.
And they want to blow us all up any minute. We can't assume they've been arrested. It's hard for any system to do that. They're not dead. If anyone can pull off a mission of this predicament, it's Chronic and those cats. I know it. Well, that's why I was telling you and Chronic not to joke around. Because this isn't karma. This is war.
The ship is trash, bro. Stripped and everything.
Only a professional could do that.
Can you fix it?
It will take a very long time. It's missing the cloud port.
The most important part. Where is it? What the heck is going on here?
Well, as I continue, if you'll be so kindly to hold interruptions for a moment. And I see you decided to make yourselves right at home.
Well, if I'm gonna be entertained, better be lucky I'm not kicking my feet on the table as well as somebody's face. I'm listening.
This is Quest. I see you already met Nuque. Nail. My name is Niente Chavez Jones. And this is my daughter, Cease. We are known as Novatos. Novato la Resistencia.
Okay, you got our attention so far.
As you can see, Latania, Mexico has been under civil war for the past 5 years now.
It's been longer than that. It's just now, it's reached its boiling point.
The Pergolian government of Latania, ruled by Supreme Presidente Quartus Rinley, declared full-scale military action because of this.
What exactly is that?
Pergola. It is a seed that is one of the most vital tools to the global economy.
Pergola is a seed that is capable of cloning, growing into food replications organically, and mineral uses.
Like creating vehicles, aircrafts. It's a vital resource.
5 years ago, the government declared an initiative which was to move forward with creating bioorganic technology with hopes of quickly weaponizing it. Instead, the experiment turned a certain large fractions of our people into those things you were fighting earlier with us.
Zombies. Yes, but unfortunately those zombies are what we call pergolas. Because those people were intended to be conforming to a totalitarian public. A more civilized zombie apocalypse.
The government sprayed unseen fumes into our air region. Some sectors, unfortunately. Not in the Sarugan jungle, which is hard for their AI sprays to reach.
The flaw within their chemical effects is they can only use AI remotes, which is hard for them to sustain.
Because they're hacking into bioorganic internal structures.
Which is impossible at this time.
So all they can do is hack and transmutate them to near death because they're trying too hard to perfect them by force.
The difference between us, my kids and comrades here, have been on the front line before this war was even declared. After the fall of the insurrectionists, the world was in population scatter. The rising theocratic party and their regiments snatch people up, sorting them out, where who belongs, which goes where. People here in Latania, let's just say, were related to people who were deported here at that time of the confiscation between here in Latania and the United Settlements of America.
Really?
Actually, the United Settlements are the reason we're all here.
After the mass deportation, the U.S. military forces led by Dramingo, who was a former general during the war, led what he called the prey chase.
Prey chase. It was a predator game that became a campaign of military predators, chasing and shooting down deported citizens through rough terrain. Men, women, ex-celestials, even little children, murdered and killed by these rogue US military predators. And no, the military didn't stop there, no. They chased the deported into the middle of Latania, way in violation of jurisdiction. They said they did it to make sure the people wouldn't return back to the US, so they felt entitled to reassure that there were no back doors open. Not even personal privacy would risk illegal entry back into the settlements.
The only thing about that was the soldiers in the US military under Jaimingo didn't leave. They stayed. To this very day, they say the purpose of the prey chase was to toughen up the deported, whether or not they live or die. Data records has it. The US officials needed the land and the people for labor usage skills, and to influence a new era of totalitarian state upon a new generation here in Latania. First step they had to use was militarization. Jarmingo and Aquarius made a pact. The deal was to build a grid, structured like a border wall. The purpose of the grid was to generate power and electricity, but not to keep citizens of Latania out of the US, but it was designed to keep US citizens from getting in Latania. Before the insurrection, Jarmingo and other party members agreed to a code name Jarmingo developed. It was called America. The purpose of the code name was to mean a miracle, by creating one out of the land the US is on. Unfortunately, the miracle failed, so after the war, they decided to create a utopia out of Latania, by the steps Cisa Nupue explained.
With not just the economic conditions of the settlements, but the current psychiatric condition of a prominent population in the US, higher beneficiaries or officials of those with agendas concluded that a next generation faces a dystopian crisis than previous, due to lack of labor accusations of public official program assistances, stress mechanisms, and unrealistic prices and ideas, acts of terrorism attacks, crime wave increasings, only require facilitation of the worst kind.
Until that depletes also.
America, with the password being a miracle, the miracle that failed, now, because of lack of generation, industrial innovation, or not, you're all divided either way. Can't agree on things together. So since artificial intelligence has not reached the top yet, the US faces suicidal self-destruction. All your products you eat, if they're not grown here or anywhere else, then they're fake.
All that garbage you throw out, it's recycled automatically, and it's connected to a small compulsive biomaterial waste. That's why they need you to throw out things in a certain way. Make and sell the same food, same clothes, same devices, made in the US.
It should explain your national medical health problems. Jarmingo and Equartis called it the abolition of firearm warfare, like a farewell to the gun.
Instead of killing you with guns, bombs, and missiles,
you can be killed with pills, medication, drugs, food, stress, similar to the ancient Chinese water torture. However, that became a contract against the US to comply with by blood signature of the lives of the people in the US. Slow, painful torture and death. The proposal was put forth to the United Centrist Theocratic regime by the conformist sector, enforcing US cooperation with the world, preventing any militaristic deception regarding imported, exported, traded goods.
That's why us Novatos in resistance circles stood up, to halt any dark agendas.
We are the only chance your people have of living. By doing together, what created the Pergolas?
This very structure, or Repius, They have a leader we've been trying to find. He disappeared after the Said corporations distributed the seeds. After Said corporations left, that's when our economy suffered, inspiring us to rise up against their agendas. While Said divided in gangs, cartels, mass incarceration increasing, us resistance fighters try to show there are other ways to live, without war, without discrimination, but with solidarity. But the U.S. forces took advantage of our situation, funding and fueling this war, to try to create the utopia they always wanted, the same way the Pergolian government came to power. War. And this grid, the Pergolian grid, is their energy source, consisting of Pergolian energy. If we find the leader, we place him into this chamber, we can rehabilitate Latania, cutting the defense forces from their supplies, limiting them. We do that, we can reverse the Pergola effects, curing them.
Say if you could, where would you start? We planted a comrade named Absent, posing as a prisoner, but a head start to retrieve the O-stem, one key that will be needed to activate this base. Get the Pergola leader by getting the O-stem. And yes, Absent is my partner.
Partner? As in relationship?
Relationships? Those still exist?
Really?
He's been in the combat zone too long. Combat fatigue relationships? I thought that was a Russell and Nicole, Rachel and Ricardo thing.
This O-stem. How confident are you? You help us with this, I'll turn your ship back online operational. Oh, really? You've got a lot more than my word. Everyone in here, let me remind you all. This is not the fault of one group, or person, or government. This regards any threat that decides to benefit from any evil. That's why, pertaining to us, we need to rehabilitate Latania. That's our step.
Which can multiply simultaneously.
Get your crew together. We're doing a food drive.